going on, world? DS1 Ross, and we back here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to everybody who support the platform. Much love, much love. Salute to everybody in the building. Shout out to y'all. If you are here and you can hear me, press 1. You can hear me, press 1. You can hear me loud and clear, press 1. Shout out to everyone. Okay. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to all of the visionaries, of course. We are back here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV with another show. I'm your host, DS1 Ross, of course. I appreciate all the love and the support. Shout out to everyone who is here. I'm glad y'all can hear me loud and clear. Shout out to you, Miss Angie. Salute to you. I appreciate all your love and all your support. You coming through, always holding down the Chizak. Shout out to Miss Angie in the building. Shout out to Letitia in the building. Much love to you. I appreciate all your love and your support. And you coming through and holding down the Chizak. Shout out to Queena. Shout out to you, sweetheart. I appreciate you. Appreciate all your support and all the help that you give in the Chizak as well. Jay from Philly, salute my brother. What's good? What's good? Peace to you, my brother. Shout out to Cyberboo. What's up, Just Jay? What's going on, girl? Ken Nash, counting cash. What's good, my brother? Shout out to my brother Kenneth Nash in the building. What's good, man? What's going on? What's up, Jasmine Virgo? Salute to you. Salute to you. My son Mac Mittens. What's good, Mac Mittens? Shout out to Mac Mittens in the building. Appreciate you, Matt. What's up, Sugar Bum? What's going on? Shout out to Sugar Bum in the building. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to everyone in the clouds. Make sure you hit the like button. Let's get the likes up. The likes are free, just like the dislikes are. So hit that like button, family. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Let's get the likes up. Hit the like button and share today's show. Share it on your community tabs. Share it on your Discord servers. Share it on your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anywhere that you share content. Share today's show. As y'all can see, this is part 3. This is part 3. I'm giving you guys what y'all asked for. Y'all said y'all wanted a continued series. So we will continue with that this week. Shout out to y'all. Let's get the likes up. Hey, M. Mills. What's going on, M. Mills? Good to see you. As always, shout out to you. My man Hubert in the building. Salute. Shout out to my man Hubert. I appreciate it, my brother. I appreciate it. We're going to get into it today. We're going to get into it today. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. We're going to get into it, man. We're going to get into it today. Jay from Philly says, enjoying my day off from work, getting that schoolwork done. Salute, my brother. Salute. Y'all see today's show, man. This is part 3 of the series, The Black Man's Pain Storage. Make sure you guys go and check out parts 1 and part 2. Make sure you guys go and check out parts 1 and part 2 of this series. Make sure y'all go and check those 2 parts out. This is part 3 today. Family trauma. Family trauma. Family trauma. The Black Man's Pain Storage. See, a lot of black men's frustrations, their initial angers, the first time they ever been disappointed, the first time they ever been hurt, taken advantage of, misled. It happened to us in our family. It was done to us by somebody in our family. And a lot of black men today don't understand how those traumatic events, because they weren't just things that happened, those were traumatic things. And what a lot of brothers don't understand is how traumatic those things were. And even though you may have still found a way to live your life, you still found a way to be happy, you still found a way to deal with life after those traumatic events. What I want brothers to understand is those things have deeply affected you. And no matter how successful you may get or successful you may be, those things are going to haunt you for the rest of your life. Those things will be part of the pain and the struggle that no one knows that you deal with every day. If you don't go get those things reconciled. You see, a lot of you guys think that, oh, well, I'm living good now, so that shit don't matter. Self University, salute my brother. And I need brothers to stop doing this, because what tends to happen is what you see happening, or what you learn happens or go on with a lot of these rappers and a lot of our famous people. A lot of the things that you hear them go through and things that they may have done, it stems back to a childhood trauma or a family trauma. You see? And when we're talking about family trauma and childhood traumas and all of that, we're not just talking about sexual abuse. We're not just talking about those things. See, what I'm talking about in particular, because I think the whole child abuse and, the whole abuse aspect should be spoken about separately. That's going to be on a whole nother show when we go into the sexual trauma that goes on with black men. That's a whole nother show. Today, what I want to focus on in particular, right, is what you see on your screen. Shout out to Akuma. Yeah, we're going to get to that, bro. We're going to get to that. Like I said, we're going to do that on a whole nother show. But what I want to focus on today is what you see on your screen. See that? That's what I want to focus on. the breaking up of the family and how that affects us brothers. See, because black men love to get on YouTube, right? A lot of these guys like to get on YouTube and they love to talk about the single mother aspect, the single mothers, the single mothers, the single mothers, the single mothers, right? But that's only one part of the argument. That's only one part of the argument. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all still hear me? Press 1 if y'all can still hear me clear. Okay. Okay. Wanted to make sure y'all can still hear me. But I want to focus on the family breaking up. Because, see, when a lot of these guys talk about the single mother stuff, they never speak about how she became a single mother. And not all the time she became a single mother because the father left her before the baby came. The father left her, you know, when the baby was little. Not all the time. It's not all the time it works that way. You see? See, what usually happens, and this is what you guys don't talk about. This is what you guys don't speak about. What usually happens is this: the man and the woman cannot reconcile their differences, and those differences and those issues start to play out where the children can see, where the children can hear, and then they see mommy and daddy break up. They see daddy go his way, mommy stays at home with us. You see? This is what happens. That's how a lot of these black single mothers became single mothers. It wasn't that dude just, you know, she just picked a dude and dude just left. A lot of times that wasn't even the case. A lot of times y'all dudes who talk about single mothers all the time, who was a single mother herself, your mama was a single mother, her goddamn self, and she became a single mother because your father and her broke up. And not only was it a breakup, but it was a tumultuous one. It was one that was played out in front of your ass, nigga. And that's why you get on here with all this vitriol for black women, because you mad at your mother. Because you taking the side of your father of the reason why they broke up. That's all you niggas are doing. See, don't think I don't know. See, I know. See, I know because I'm the product of that. You see? And what tends to happen is that a child finds whose side to be on. But see, when you grow up and you become a grown-ass man, you realize that You're not supposed to pick a side because that has nothing to do with you. You were just affected by the results of your parents' decision. You see? See, it's not your job to figure out or to see as a child how affected you were. It's your job to do this as an adult. You see, because a lot of y'all was this little boy that's in the picture. This was y'all. You wanted your parents to stop arguing. You wanted them to get it together. You wanted them to figure it out so y'all can be a family. This is all you wanted. This is all you ever wanted. This is all you ever wanted. How do I know? This is all I ever wanted. I wanted my parents to stay together so we could be a happy family. That's what any child wants who grow up with his parents around. You see? So I understand where your pain and your frustration comes from. I understand. I know. But in 2022, how much more can we take, fellas? How much more? Ask yourself this, brothers, to any brother that's listening to this, how much more can you take, man? Blaming, shame, blaming, explaining. How much is that helping you mentally? How much is that helping you emotionally? Shame, blaming, explaining. Still mad at your mama. How is that helping you? It's not. You're running out of room for pain. It's time for us to stop storing that type of pain, man. Because see, what I had to realize, fellas, and I'm not telling y'all to do it right now. I'm not telling you to do it tomorrow. It's a process. But what you have to get to is you have to get to an understanding that shit had nothing to do with you. Your mother and your father breaking up had nothing to do with you, even though your life was traumatically affected by it. You see, because for the most part, black parents don't know shit about trauma. They know about traumatic events happening to them, but they don't know the psychological effects to it. Because if they did, they would know not to exhibit certain things. Most of our parents didn't understand this shit. They didn't understand the severity of unhealed trauma. GQ, what's good, man? I appreciate your support, bro. Appreciate it. Third Ward, salute, family. Hey, Ty's crazy-ish. Salute, love. I appreciate you. Ken Nash says, shit, just holding them down, grow up and get focused. Don't let life pass you by holding on to bullshit that you never had control of. Facts, my brother. That's a fact. But like any child, shout out to the OG Mace. Like any child, you think that you have the power to influence your parents to do the right thing. That's any child. A child thinks that if I cry enough, if I piss a fit enough, they'll realize that this shit is hurting me and that they'll fix it. You see? Akuma says just choose a quality mother when you make kids. That's all. A lot of shit change when children come into play, Akuma. You'll learn that someday. You might think you were Esmeralda, the goddamn princess, until she have a goddamn child. Children change things, my brother. Trust me. It's not that easy of just saying find a quality mother. It's not that simple. Because even with the shortcomings of a lot of these women, it doesn't mean that they're not quality mothers. Just because you and her don't work out in a relationship, it doesn't mean that she's not a good mother. You see, this is the problem. See, this is why I'm doing today's show. And I'm not putting this on you, Akuma, but I'm just using what you said as an example on what a lot of these guys do today. And this is how they stay in pain. This is how they stay in pain, because a lot of these guys start thinking, well, because my mother left my father, now my mama ain't shit. So I could go around and hate women and do all of this other shit because my mama wasn't shit. No, your mama and your father just broke the fuck up. That's what happened. And because your mother probably didn't want to be with your father no more, why would you hate your mother because of that? That had nothing to do with you. She was a grown-ass woman dealing with a grown-ass man, and it didn't work out. Who the hell are you to turn around and to take that shit personal? You're the child. You see, brothers? And we carry this energy into adulthood as men. We can't do that shit. We can't do that. You still carrying the same attitude as if you 6 or 7 years old and you 50. You 45, 50 years old. Still carrying that shit like you 6 or 7. When you should have lived enough life at this point to even understand what your parents went through, because you should have been through some shit already. But you allow this shit to take up storage in your life. And this is why brothers are taking themselves out. Brothers are taking themselves out because of this. They are. What's up, Quita? Jay from Philly says the family generation trauma passed down to children, and it doesn't mean the individual aren't good parents. Exactly, my brother. Exactly. Exactly. It doesn't mean that, because that shit had nothing to do with us. Just like the trauma that was passed down to our parents from our grandparents had nothing to do with our mothers and fathers. The shit that they was faced with, they had to face it because they were children who had to deal with the situation that their parents were faced with. This is why I tell brothers, man, it's important that we heal. It's important that we heal, man. Because this is why there's a lot of resentment. There's a lot of resentment being held with black men, because it stems from family trauma. How you gonna say, DS1, you my brother, when you hate your actual brother? You hate your real brother. You hate your real brother. But I'm supposed to trust you that you got love for me like a brother. You don't even love your own goddamn brother. You done snaked and stabbed your own brother. So I'm supposed to say, oh yeah, you a good brother. No, you're not, because you're not even a good brother to your brother. So how you gonna be a good brother to me? You see what I'm saying? Shout out to Mr. E. That's a fact, man. A man got to fix his own problems. Learn as you go. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's why I always say, Mr. E, it's not our fault. A lot of shit that happened to black men, it's not our fault, but it is our problem. That ties right into what you say, bro. We got to fix the shit. Okay, we didn't create the problem, but we still got to fix the problem. It's not our fault, but it is our problem. What's up, Just Me? Just Sonny. What's up, Just Sonny? What's going on? But brothers, they're not understanding that family trauma, man, really has crippled a lot of us as black men. It's crippled us. It has crippled us. It has. And the reason why it has crippled us is because we don't understand that family trauma is an internal issue. See, the family value is an internal value. You see? So this is a problem within. Shout out to Taz Crazy-ish. I appreciate you. She said, just because parents break up don't mean they don't love each other. Sometimes she says, just because parents break up don't mean they don't love each other. Sometimes they need time to work on issues so they can be better for each other and the kids. That's true. Shout out to Taz Crazy-ish. That's true too. That's true. Jay from Philly says, I forgave my mother and father on not being emotionally available for me as a child. Best conversation I ever had with my parents. Healed my wounds. Shout out to my brother Jay from Philly, man. I got to put that up there. You see that, fellas? This is what we have to do. This is what we have to do. Besides getting rich, getting money, and all that shit, this is the shit that we have to do. If our parents are still alive, we gotta reconcile. You see what that brother said? The best conversation he ever had. It healed his wounds. It healed his wounds. See the reason why a lot of black men feel like they ain't shit without money is because they grew up poor. This is why we feel like we ain't shit without money, because we come from a fucked up poor family. And it's like, if you got money, you mean something to people around you. That's why black men feel so fucked up when we ain't got no money. That's why we all chase money, because we want a feeling of acceptance. This shit is deeper than going to be fly and having cars and all that shit. It's deeper than that. This is why I tell brothers, we got to heal, fellas. We got to heal before we build. This nigga only want to drive a Benz so a woman can accept him and to see him as a man and to see him as success. Because he come from a family of fucking failure. He come from a family of being let down, doors being closed in their face. This is why. Don't talk that fly nigga shit to me. That shit is fake. I know what it's really about. You looking for acceptance. You looking for love. You want somebody to say, I accept you. I love you. That's why we do that stupid shit. And it all stems back from what? Family trauma. You being that little boy right here on your goddamn screen. You just wanted them to stop the arguing, right? Because while they arguing, you crying. They not even paying attention. Because they so caught up in their shit. They don't even see how it affects you. And you got to grow up and learn how to deal with that. Tosh Crazy, it says, my parents and I forgave each other before they passed. I missed them so much. Oh, yeah. Rest in peace to them. Quita says, the way people are about money make me not like money. There's so many sinful things it seems that it brings. Yes, the love of that shit is powerful, Quita. Thanks, Just Me. I appreciate it. Shout out to Ebo Sosa. He says, this just strengthens the fact that Black men must focus more on aspiration, aka being more, rather than ambition, aka accumulating more. Shout out to my brother Ebo, man. I appreciate it. Shout out to you, bro. You see, all this shit stems back to family trauma. And those two articles that I read in parts 1 and part 2, make sure you go and check out part 1 and part 2, the Black Man's Pain Storage. Right? They said that one of the main contributing factors to Black youth committing suicide is family issues. Family issues. Family issues. So let's, because Google is our best friend, right? Let's go to the mental effects of family trauma, because we've been speaking about mental health. So let's speak on the mental effects of family trauma. How does family trauma affect mental health? Shout out to everybody in the building. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button and share today's show. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button and share today's show. How does family trauma affect mental health? Early life adversity is a major risk factor. A major risk factor. Early life adversity, like seeing your parents get divorced, like seeing your parents break up tumultuously, seeing your father go to jail, hearing your father got killed, seeing your mama go to prison, seeing your mama getting abused, seeing your mama on drugs. Early life adversity is a major risk factor for the development of psychological and behavioral problems later on in life. Let me read that again for you grown-ass men who still like to make excuses when I say we got to heal before we build. Early life adversity is a major, not a minor, a major risk factor for the development of psychological and behavioral problems later in life. Okay? You got to heal, fellas. This is what we got to focus on. Higher rates of depression. Remember, these are also contributing factors to suicide. Higher rates of depression, suicidality, anxiety disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder, and aggressive behavior have been reported in adults who experienced childhood maltreatment. What are we running from here, black men? We running from our goddamn selves. We done sat here for years in a goddamn manosphere chasing our goddamn tails. We're running from our fucking selves. So you think if you talk about black women and the daggle and single mothers for the next 10 fucking years, after you've been talking about it 10 years now, you think that's going to change your situation? You think that's going to make you get over the fact that you hate your baby mama and you hate your mother, nigga? You think that's going to help you? So I'm going to just stay on YouTube and talk about black women for 10 more years, and then maybe I'll get over the fact that I hate my own mother. Do you see the stupidity in that? Guess what you're doing, black man? Guess what you're doing? Every day, the daggle, the single mother, the single mother, the single mother. Guess what you're doing? Guess what you're doing? You're jerking yourself off. That's what you're doing. It's called mental masturbation. You think because you're talking shit about them that you're healing. This is what you think. You think you're healing. This is what you think. Man, these women ain't shit. Man, these single mamas ain't shit. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of you, mom. You think, oh, that make you feel better, nigga? It can't make you feel better when you gotta drink 151 in Hennessy to say the shit out your mouth. You're in pain, nigga. You gotta smoke 1,000,000 cigars to say what you gotta say. You're in pain. You gotta be sedated to talk this shit. You in pain. You get up here and talk about black women every day and then take your ass to the casino and sit at the bar and get drunk and go live. Man, whoever got beef with me, they could pull up. I'm outside on folks them. I'm outside. This is what these niggas do after talking about black women all day, make thousands of dollars, they go get drunk and high. You can pull up if you want to. You pull up if you want to. This is what you doing. This is what you black men are doing with other black men's money. Y'all are both getting high off each other. He getting high off your shit because the shit you saying, and then he paying you, and then you taking that money to go get high. Y'all pull up. I'm outside with folks them. You niggas ain't pulling up. This the leader of the church. It's a pull up. It's pull up. I'm outside. Minister Fat, exactly. I'm outside. That brother in pain, man. That brother in pain. Yeah, I crack jokes on him, but I know that brother's in pain, man. I feel bad for that brother. He's in pain. He's in serious, this man is dealing with serious trauma. Serious. And these brothers think, oh, I be trying to come at them. No. Brother, I want you to realize what's going on with you. We know you got family trauma. We see it. We see it. And guess what? YouTube checks not gonna heal it. I'm here to tell you that. I don't care how much YouTube checks you get. It's not gonna heal it. Your Cash App going off, not gonna heal it. It's not. It's not. It's just not. We know where it come from. Childhood maltreatment. Jay from Philly said, Minister has been in pain since 2010 on these YouTube streets. Come on, man. Come on, man. He do get drunk and post drunk threats. Come on, man. Come on. When he got knocked out at the gas station, he got knocked out because he was drunk, running his mouth. See, y'all think I just be coming up here trying to shit on black men. I don't come up here for that. I don't come up here for that. I don't come up here for that. I want brothers to use other brothers as a goddamn learning tool. You don't want to be like Jap. His pain storage is on overload. This man is a ticking time bomb. You don't want to be like him. Come on. You don't want to be these men. You don't. Because they're unhappy. They're unfulfilled men. And it is because they will not address their family issues. They're still running. They think money could buy them a place somewhere on this earth where they can run from all their goddamn problems. And that's how black people always fucking thought. And that's why with all these black millionaires and with all these black athletes and all this shit, we still at the bottom. Because money not gonna change this shit. It can help. But if I still see you as a piece of shit and you see me as a piece of shit, then what the fuck have changed? What has changed? What have changed? If I still gotta walk past and you looking me up and down, what have changed? Huh? Nothing. Nothing. You still walking around like that angry, dusty, broke nigga you was. You just got money now. You're still an angry, dusty nigga. You think you can't be dusty with money? With your hateful ass. Walking around hating everybody, finding somebody to talk about, finding somebody to go in on with your hateful ass. That's dusty nigga shit. What's up, Perfectly Imperfect? Right, you're a piece of shit with money. And the reason why we see a bunch of this with black men is because the level of pain black men are in. The level of pain black men are in. Because we don't understand early life adversity and how it plays into our development psychologically and behaviorally. We don't pay attention to it. We don't pay attention to it. This is why a lot of black men are dealing with mental health problems. And they're finding out later on in life. Plus the misdiagnosis and all the stuff that I spoke about in parts 1 and parts 2. Make sure y'all go and check that out. How does childhood trauma affect you mentally? Children who have experienced complex trauma often have difficulty identifying, expressing, and managing emotions, and may have limited language for feeling states. Y'all don't see that with a lot of these dudes who can't express themselves without getting upset. A lot of these dudes don't know how to just calm down and talk. Soon as there's a disagreement has to be an argument. A disagreement has to turn into I'ma pull up. See this? You see what I'm talking about now? I'ma pull up, nigga. All because I ain't agree with you, bro. Now you want to pull up and kill me. Now you want to pull up and kill me. You have a mental health problem, my brother. You have a mental health problem, which it started from when you was a child. Because nobody heard and listened to you. Nobody heard you out. People always cut you off when you was talking as a little boy. People always cut you off. Because they always want to force you to do what they want you to do, right? See, I know what you're talking about, brother. I know what you've been through. I know. So now when you're talking to me and I'm explaining myself and you want to hurry up and get your shit out because you think I'm not going to let you get your shit off. Because you're used to being cut off. You're used to being ignored. And then you end up forgetting your point. See, I know. See, what you do now is you force your points in. And if I don't let you force your points in, I'm a bitch ass nigga and you'll pull up and kill me. You'll pull up and kill me because you have a mental health problem. Because your anxiety, when you want to say something so bad, but the person's still talking, your anxiety kicking. So you gotta talk. Because you're not used to nobody listening. You're not used to shutting up and listening. And the person that you're trying to talk to is not used to shutting up and listening to you. This is how conflict starts. And you niggas don't even see that. This is how conflict starts. This is how it begins. Because somebody got anxiety and they can't just wait their turn. They just gotta. That's anxiety. That comes from not being heard. Which comes from what? Family trauma. Yo, y'all stop coming in my chat room talking about other people. That's your first warning, Jerry Moore. Don't come in my chat room dropping names. I told y'all that before. If I want to talk about somebody, I'll talk about them. Perfectly Imperfect says they don't care if you mental. They lumping everything and everybody into one group if black. Yeah, that's a fact. Mr. E say, then you pull up and they end up laid out. Right, bro. Then they end up laid out. Right. And that's what we trying to avoid, bro. That's what we trying to avoid. Come on, it's 2022, man. It's 2022. You feel me? You know, that's what we trying to avoid, bro. Real shit. This is why I get up here and speak to brothers, so brothers can understand where a lot of their shit come from, so they can start dealing with it. Because other guys, they're not going to take the time to deal with it. They're going to deal with you. And that's what we want to refrain from as brothers, man. We don't want to be aggressors upon each other, because we're supposed to be brothers. Now, we not saying don't defend yourself, but to be an aggressor upon another brother, man, we got to stop that shit. Especially when we now understand that a lot of our black men are dealing with mental health issues. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Nisha? Now, it's all good, Jerry Moore. It's all good. No doubt. It's all good. Shout out to my man, Pastor. What's good, Pastor? He said mental health pays very well in the medical industry because it is not a proven science, so it's easy to exploit. Wow. That's interesting. That's interesting. And I'm gonna take that as a fact from you, because you in the medical field, Pastor. But I was just reading an article. You was in the chat the other day where they were saying that that definitely is the mental health field is a field that is basically wide open, especially for us blacks. But it's just something that we skip past. I bet it's sad, man. It just but see, that just shows you how wicked America is. And how we're actually experiencing the fall of America. Because they're allowing these mental health cases and these people out in society, and they're just, you know, letting them fall by the wayside, man. And these people with mental health issues out in society, they kill innocent people. They had a special like that a few years ago in New York, where they had this guy. He was schizophrenic. He was known for pushing people in front of the trains. But he was schizophrenic. When they finally caught him, they found out that he was in goddamn Bellevue. He was a patient from Bellevue that they just let out in the streets and somehow just lost him in the system. Like, I don't understand that shit, Pastor. Maybe you could explain that, bro. How the hell they just lose us in the system? You know how many black people just, their paperwork just mysteriously disappear out of hospitals, out the system, and then they end up out on the streets, and, you know, they junkies and shit like that, man. It's a lot of that going on. It's a lot of that going on. A lot of that. Yes, I spoke about that Perfectly Imperfect. Sure did. That's a fact. We get misdiagnosed and over-medicated. Just Jay says, don't get me started on that, DS. Man, this shit is crazy. It's crazy. Just Me says, I disagree. I'm a psychiatric nurse. I call Cap. That's why you ain't comment yet, huh? Oh, there you go, Pastor. I was getting ready to say, oh, that's why you ain't comment. She said, I call Cap. Mr. E says, so what's happening to the closing of mental institutions if what dude is posting is Cap? Hey, Pastor says, at Just Me, can you tell me the actual science behind mental health? I respect your field, but they can't even tell you how SSRI actually works. Whatever that means. I'm gonna let y'all talk in the chat. I'm gonna let y'all talk in the chat. I'm gonna let y'all talk in the chat while I continue to read. So, since we're speaking about trauma, how does trauma affect you mentally? See, because we speak about generational trauma, generational curses, trauma that's passed down, but let's get to what trauma is initially, because you are dealing with the results of what your parents had to deal with. Y'all see what I'm saying? That's how it's passed down, because your parents exhibit traumatic behavior in certain things for you to pick up on it. But they only deal with it because that's what they were left to deal with, because their parents didn't know how to treat trauma. Black people, period, was not taught anything about therapy, trauma, anything about that. We were not taught anything about that. What's up, Antonia Couture? Some people use crazy as an excuse. Wow. Some people do. Some people do use crazy as an excuse. But sometimes crazy is what it is. Sometimes crazy is what it is. And sometimes people who use crazy are not even crazy, Antonia. It's just that they have a mental health issue that hasn't been treated. So they think that they're crazy. You see? Antonia says they did it in DC. It was called St. Elizabeth. But the catch is, who would be okay with committing people into institutions? Hey, I think and they even spoke about this in the articles that I read in parts 1 and 2. Make sure y'all go and check out part 1 and part 2 to this series, because in those articles they expressed a lot of what y'all speaking on in the chat room. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate y'all. Y'all hit the like button and share the show. Yes, a lot of racism in healthcare. They spoke on that in the articles too, Ty. They spoke on that. Structural racism, bias, discrimination. Yes. Mr. E says, and halfway house ain't good for mental patients. Oh, hell no. Hell no. Because you in a halfway house is not a goddamn halfway house is like an outhouse to a jail. So you in there with people who just came out of jail, and jail is nothing but a goddamn mental institution. That's all jail is. But let's read, how does trauma affect you mentally? Trauma can affect how you feel about yourself. Let me read that again. Let's read that again. Trauma can affect how you feel about yourself and how you relate to others. Let me read it again so you brothers who are in the back can hear it. This is why I say we gotta heal before we what? Build. Why? Because if we keep building and not healing, we're going to continue to do what? Cause self-inflicted wounds, right? Y'all always hear me say this. Now let's read, how does trauma affect you mentally? Again, trauma can affect how you feel about yourself. That's point 1, about yourself, and how you relate to others. You see why black men can't get the fuck along? Like I've been saying since I've been here. But you niggas want to fight me tooth and nail. Y'all been fighting me for years for saying some shit that's factual. We We can't get along because of trauma. Because how you niggas can't relate. There's always a goddamn problem. You're always finding some way to stay divisive. That's because of trauma. You don't know how to relate to others. Because the way you feel about yourself. Y'all been fighting a nigga who cared about y'all for the past fucking 5 years. Y'all been fighting DS1. A nigga who give a fuck about y'all. But y'all don't want to see it because y'all don't give a fuck about yourselves. That's why y'all always think nobody give a fuck about you. Because you don't give a fuck about yourself. Just say that. Just say that. Trauma can affect how you feel about yourself and how you relate to others. Women who have gone through abuse or other trauma have a higher risk of developing a mental health condition. Let's read that again. Let's read that again. The Daggle, the American Daggle. Women who have gone through abuse or other trauma have a higher risk of developing a mental health condition, such as depression, anxiety, or PTSD. Trauma and abuse are never your fault. How many of you men still believe in your mind that your parents broke up because of you? How many of y'all blame yourselves? Huh? How many of y'all thought that y'all was the problem? You know, when they had you, they became unhappy because they didn't have enough money. And how many of y'all feel like that? Your parents broke up because of you. Your family broke up because of you. Huh? Huh? Because trauma and abuse is never your fault. This is why I said earlier in the show, it had nothing to do with you. Yes, it hurted you. Yes, you got to deal with what comes from that shit. But it wasn't your fault, bro. It wasn't your fault. Shout out to my brother, the Book of Ronan. He says, way too many of us will wage war with those willing to help in order to protect their fetish of failure. To have an unhealthy relationship with our negative narratives defines our lust for brokenness and traumatic desires. Shout out to my brother, the Book of Ronan, man. Isn't that the facts? Isn't that the goddamn facts, man? Let me read that again. Way too many of us, and shout out to my brother again for the super chat. Way too many of us will wage war with those willing to help in order to protect their fetish of failure. To have an unhealthy relationship with your negative narratives defines our lust for brokenness and traumatic desires. Shout out to my bro, man. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, bro. So this is how deep trauma goes. And whether guys want to admit it or not, most of you guys around here are affected by trauma. Straight up. Times Crazy, it says it's hard for me to relate to others. It's like I have to disguise myself to be relatable. No, you don't. You just have to stop thinking that something is wrong with you because you are you. Which goes back to childhood. Goes back to childhood trauma. If you've always felt like something was wrong with you from when you were a child and people treated you like something was wrong with you, then you're going to grow up and still feel that way. You're going to grow up and still think that way about yourself because it says it right here. Early life adversity is a major risk factor for the development of psychological and behavioral problems later in life. So that's where it comes from. That's where it comes from. That's where it comes from. You see? And brothers, how long have you been walking around with all of this material in your tank? How long you been storing this pain? How long you been storing this trauma? How long? How long you been hiding it behind your cars? How long you been hiding it behind your jewelry? Huh? How much longer you think you could hide it behind a Mary Jeans? Huh? How much longer? How much longer could you hide behind your bins? You hide behind your income. But every day you look at that Glock and you ready to put it to your forehead, right? Right. Every day you pop that pill to stop you from blowing your brains out, right? Because you're walking around storing this pain, man, from something that happened to you when you were a child. So some may ask the question, why is childhood trauma so damaging? Because a lot of y'all think, man, that was when we was kids, man. We could get over that shit and all of that type of shit, try to make light of it, right? Mr. E says, my parents told us often, it ain't our fault or business when they argue or break up. We got it and just started leaving the room. Pops never hit moms, but they would say the meanest shit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's real. I'm glad that they told y'all that. I'm glad that they told y'all that. I'm glad. That was some real shit. Why is childhood trauma so damaging? Children who are exposed to abuse and trauma may develop what is called a heightened stress response. Look at our young boys today. Look at the young men today. Look at the 20-year-old guys. Heightened stress response. His homie come back from the store. Yo, dude in the store was just looking like he wanted smoke. Now they run into the store ready to shoot the store. Heightened stress response. This is how damaging trauma is. Childhood trauma. Your homie went to the store, saw a dude in the store he never saw in the hood before. Homie looking at him, he thinking that's one of the ops. He done popped the pill for the day. He perked up, right? He perked up. He went to the store to get something to drink. He see a dude he never saw in the hood. He think that's one of the ops. This is a normal civilian. Oh, that's one of the ops, bro. He run back down the block, tell his homies, right, that one of the ops is in the store. They run in the store and kill an innocent man. We don't see that going on every day in Chicago, every day in New York, every day in Florida. We don't see that going on. Heightened stress response. They taking it to 20. If the energy could be on 2, homeboy was just looking at him. He took it to 20. He took it to 20. JR, what's good, JR? JR says monk mode until men handle their trauma. Why chase cheeks and we haven't recovered mentally? Monk mode. Facts. Even though we're not even talking about chasing cheeks, but makes sense what you said. What's up, Felicia Gray? Good to see you. Jasani says, this is a beautiful and heartfelt conversation for men and women. The missing link in the manosphere talking points, understanding, kindness, and forgiveness. I appreciate that, Jasani. Appreciate it. Just Jay says, if you as a healthcare worker are overly concerned about people faking and ish not being real, you are a weak link in the health. Oh, all right. I'm gonna stop reading. I'm gonna start reading you with just me comments. Y'all going in. Y'all going in on Pastor. Right. Coping mechanisms are needed. Right. Right. So let me read that again. Children who are exposed to abuse and trauma may develop what is called a heightened stress response. This can impact their ability to regulate their emotions. Oh, but when I brought up emotional intelligence, I was called, they told me I love the daggle, I'm a strag lover, I'm caping for black women. That's a black woman narrative. This is what was this. I just fully got attacked for bringing up something that all black men should be fucking aware of. Shout out to my man Boot Camp. This can impact their ability to regulate their emotions. Oh, men are not supposed to be emotional. But telling me I'm acting like a female is what? That ain't emotional. We all have emotions, nigga. Learn how to deal with them. This can impact their ability to regulate their emotions, which leads to sleep difficulties, lower immune function, and increase the risk of number of physical illnesses throughout adulthood. Do y'all see how damaging childhood trauma can be? Later on in life, it affects you. It affects your physical health. It affects your physical health. Oh, they call it the daggle. Jay from Philly. DAGGLE, the daggle. See this? Not even just PTSD, perfectly imperfect. We're talking about physical illnesses. This is how damaging childhood trauma can be. Childhood trauma leads to physical illnesses as well. Lower immune functions, sleep deprivation, which leads to what? Physical illnesses. Physical illnesses. It affects your physical health later on in life. So fellas, if we don't resolve the trauma, we're going to drop dead like Kevin Samuels. You see how that man dropped dead? You see how David Carroll dropped dead? You niggas think it's a game. This is why I said it. I feel bad for Jap. I feel bad for these dudes. I try to tell them, brothers, we got to heal before we build, man. Try to tell brothers, man. Try to tell brothers. This trauma shit destroys us. That's what it's designed to do. That's what it's designed to do. Rip us from the inside out. That's what's happening to us. That's what has happened to the Black Brotherhood. The Black Brotherhoods has been ripped from the inside out. Why? Because a lot of these black men are unhealed. So they're easily misled and misguided into doing something dirty to their own goddamn brother. Because he can easily be convinced that you're not his fucking brother. And then he kill your ass. Now he's sitting in jail like, God damn, I didn't even know I was confused. I didn't even know I was being misled to thinking all these other brothers was my ops. But now it would take you 30, 40 years to realize that. You see what I'm saying, brothers? And we losing. We're losing. We're losing. It's good, Cartel. We're losing. And we're losing because of this. Because instead of us trying to figure out how to release the pain, how to release the trauma, we still finding ways to store it. What's the sense of giving your family or your family having a whole bunch of goddamn money and they still don't fucking love each other? What's the difference? All that's gonna happen is when y'all all get fucking money, guess what y'all gonna do? Run away from each other. Y'all gonna separate from each other. Y'all ain't gonna come to each other's house. Y'all not gonna call each other or nothing. You know why? Because now y'all got enough money to never see each other again. So you still hate your brother. You still hate your sister, whether y'all got money or not. You still hate her. And you know why you hate your brother and you hate your sister? Because you hate your mama. Half of y'all hate your mama because your mama didn't treat them the way she treated you, right? Right. So you always had a little resentment there because mommy treated them better. So the resentment was there already. And see, y'all never got past that part. So now y'all grown, y'all getting money. It's quick to say, man, fuck you. Care if you my brother. I don't care if you my sister. Fuck you. You know why? Because you don't need them. You know why? Because you don't even need them to love you. Because that's how you feel about yourself. Because you got this money. This money will love me. Right? Because your family don't have to. You see how deep this shit is, brothers and sisters? Y'all see how deep this trauma go? You see how deep this trauma go? Nigga, my money will love me. Fuck my brother. My money will love me. My money will take care of me. Fuck my sisters. See how deep this shit goes? You ain't free, nigga. You still a slave. Living like that. And guess who you a slave to? Your own trauma. Because you rather keep storing it instead of releasing it. You want to keep paying for patches. You want to keep hiding it. You want to throw designer clothes on it. You want to throw 32 karat Cubans on it. You want to throw rings on it. You want to throw Louis on it, Dior on it. You don't want to release it. You don't want to get rid of it. You want to just put on a costume every day. Let me throw this costume on. Yeah, I'm a fly nigga. Yeah, I'm a rich nigga. Yeah, I'm that nigga. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. How you that nigga? You scared to go around your family because you scared how they gonna judge you. So that means you ain't that nigga. Jasani says, mental illness is on a rise. Question, do you think it's a spiritual thing as well? Oh, of course. Oh, of course. Oh, of course. Of course. Of course. Oh, yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, your trauma becomes your God. Facts. 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 I gotta do this. That's a fact, Jay from Philly. Your trauma becomes your God. That's why I said it's definitely spiritual, Justani. It's definitely spiritual. The devil loves trauma. See, when you're dealing with high levels of trauma, the devil could get you to call yourself a demon. You see? This goes back to part one. When I spoke about this in part one. See, the devil could get you to call yourself a savage and a demon because he got you submerged in your trauma. Now he done made you feel like being traumatized is cool. Cause I'm gonna pop this bean and I'm gonna go shoot everybody. I don't keep so it don't matter if I'm traumatized. You see? So it's definitely spiritual, Justani. It's definitely spiritual. Yes, he whispers and isolates. Just Jay says you might want to look at your own unresolved stuff. We all have our journey. Facts. That's a fact. We better look at our own shit first. That's what we better do. These ninjas will never talk that mess offline. Yeah, we seen what happened when they tried. He went to sleep. He put that boy right to sleep. Just Jay says, instead of catching tone, inflection, and context, you come up with all this whatever you got going on instead of paying attention to the fact that DS is trying to reach his brothers. Hey man, they'll get it one day, Just Jay. They'll get it one day. Yeah, maybe Lee. Yeah, they all deny it. It's not just the mommy issue, Sugar Bum. They have daddy issues. They have daddy issues. It's not really their mother, it's their father. It's their father. They mad at their father. They mad at their mother too, but they really mad at their dads. They mad at their dads. Cartel says if you continue to hold on to your traumas, you will forever be a slave to it. Yes. Yep. Like Jay from Philly says, your trauma then becomes your God. And you know who realms, who lords over that realm? The devil. The devil. Just Jay, mother and father wounds as big as a Grand Canyon. Yep. And we all have them. And I want brothers to understand that these family issues that are unresolved in your life, you carry that anger, that resentment, and all that shit when you come in contact with other brothers. And this is why we can't get along. See, certain men can't get along with certain other archetypes of men because it reminds them of men in their family that they can't stand. So, of course, you might not like DS1. I might remind you of that uncle that you always wanted to beat up, but you know you can't. That's why you're mad. See, I get it. I get it. But fellas, this is why I always say we got to heal before we bail. We got to heal, brothers. You going to keep running? You can't. Where you running to? All you're doing is storing up more pain, brother. That's all you're doing. You're just storing up more pain. You're just finding another, you just finding another valve to pour some pain in. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing, man. So I appreciate y'all for tuning into today's show. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all share today's show. Make sure y'all share today's show. If y'all enjoyed today's show, the Cash App is going across the screen. Shout out to everyone who has donated, whether you hit the Super Chat, whether you hit the Cash App. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to everyone. Salute to everyone for coming through. Shout out to everyone who hit the Cash App. Shout out to everyone who has hit the Super Chat once again. Shout out to all you visionaries. Shout out to all you visionaries. Shout out to my favorite lady mods, always coming through and holding down the Chizat. After this show, I will create a playlist for this series that I have going on that you guys requested. So we will continue with part 4 tomorrow. Make sure y'all catch episodes 1 and 2. Make sure y'all catch episodes 1 and 2 before I close out. If any of my ladies can go and grab the links for episodes 1 and 2 and put them in the chat real quick, that would be very much appreciated. Either way, I will make a playlist after this live. You guys can directly click the playlist and binge watch the shows. Shout out to everyone once again. I appreciate y'all for tuning into today's show. Much love. Sugar bum, stop. But men don't take their meds and off. Sugar bum, stop. Just stop. Just stop. Just stop. Yeah, just stop, man. You crazy. Y'all crazy. Thanks, Miss Angie. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Shout out to you, Perfectly Imperfect. I appreciate everyone. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I drop some new content right here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to all you visionaries. DS1 Ross, Sheep Stay Sleep TV. And remember, brothers, we got to heal before we build. We got to heal before we build because we are our own agency. We are our own agency. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace.